NAM Research Day is really about us coming together to share the research from our members. We started NAM in July 2017, so we are growing a bit older now. And so it's an opportunity for us also to kind of think about and reflect on how far we've gone. For any guests who are with us today, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Amara Anyogu, and I'm one of the co-conveners of the Nigerian Applied Microbiologist Network. And it's a network that really has its vision really is about advancing applied microbiology in Nigeria. But our mission is focused on three main objectives. We're trying to provide opportunities to mentor our early career researchers, providing opportunities, providing the skills and expertise that they need as they develop their careers, not just for personal gain, but to support Nigeria's sustainable development. We also want to communicate our science. So we believe strongly that science isn't only for peer-reviewed journals. Science is for us to impact the world around us. That's what science is, the knowledge of the natural world. And we have to go back into the community and engage with all of our stakeholders. And to do this, we are fostering research collaborations within the network, particularly focused in environmental microbiology, food, and medical microbiology. So it's been interesting so far. I think we are very much still in the learning and growing phase, but we have had quite a number of successes coming through around our research collaborations. We've had members successfully apply for grants together. We've had research publications start coming through. And we have currently have 5 NAM themed research projects in progress, which we know will come out very impactful. Mentoring this afternoon after our NAM Research Day, we're going to have a masterclass. The masterclasses actually started last year, but this year we decided to make them more regular. And when people ask for mentoring, I think the masterclasses are also an opportunity to learn from experts in that sense that they are mentoring sessions as well. We're slowly taking our first steps in science communication. We have our WordPress blog where we are sharing scientific information, communicating peer-reviewed research as well. So watch this space. So going on into today's meeting, we have a very exciting program over the next hour and a half. Dr. Emmanuel Mogaji is our keynote speaker today. Dr. Emmanuel, very warm welcome to the Nigerian Applied Microbiology Network. We really look forward to your keynotes. And at the end of the session, of course, my able chair and my boss will be speaking to give us some closing remarks, Dr. Yinka. Thank you so much again to our speakers for volunteering to speak at this event, Olufemi, Yinka, Dr. Yinka, Christian, Dr. Ogweri. We are so grateful. There will be no research day without researchers coming forward to share their research. I only noticed and realized this morning that we have an all-male speaker session today. I didn't realize I wasn't sharing my video because I just kind of covered my face. And I don't know what to say because at first I was going to apologize for it, but then, you know, we had put it out for volunteers, and I think it's something that we'll definitely be more sensitive to at the next event because ladies, you know, we have so many powerful scientists in the house, and we really want to make sure that any barriers or obstacles that would prevent you from being able to speak, that we can work together to remove that. So we're starting out with our keynote address from Dr. Emmanuel, and I'm just going to do a brief introduction and give a brief about his bio. So I've known Dr. Emmanuel for a few years now. He's a very great and inspirational colleague. He's a senior lecturer in advertising and marketing communications at the University of Greenwich. His primary areas of interest are, I love this, the ABCDE of marketing communications, which involves advertising, branding, communications, digital, and ethics. He's a fellow of the Higher Education Academy, and I love the way he shares about his teaching using, well, he's a marketing lecturer. So he's very good at, marketing his course and how he engages with the students. He's the author of a very brand new textbook called Brand Management: An Introduction Through Storytelling, published by Palgrave, and Introduction to Advertising. He has co-edited 5 books. He's a prolific researcher. I think every other month, Dr. Emmanuel is publishing something. So I think, Dr. Emmanuel, you put some anointing on us, and I know that you will share some of those in your talk today. So he's going to be giving us a keynote about enhancing our research visibility in digital spaces. COVID has meant that many of the things that we actually took for granted have come to the forefront. Someone said to me the other day that COVID is not the disruptor. Technology had always been the disruptor, but COVID was an opportunity for us to just kind of open our eyes to how important it was for us to think about our digital spaces and how we inhabit those spaces. So I'm really looking forward to some of the tips, some of the practical advice Dr. Emmanuel will give us today. And welcome to the Nigerian Applied Microbiology Network, Dr. Emmanuel. As a Nigerian, you're always welcome in this space, even though you're not a microbiologist, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amara. I hope you cannot hear me.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for the invite. Yes, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for the invite. I guess I've known you for many years, and I think starting with the Aspiring Professional Hub, I think that has made a very good impact. I remember when I was doing my PhD, that was a platform to share ideas and a platform to engage. So thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to share this platform with you. So I will try and share my screen. Would you please allow me to share my screen? You know, we can't do presentation without PowerPoint.
Of course.
Yeah.
I thought I made you a co-host, but let me just check again.
Oh, maybe I didn't come in through the right door.
Okay, let me do that again. Yes. Okay. Yes, you should have it now.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm trying to make it. Okay, so let's put it. Yes. So thank you once again. Today's presentation is about enhancing your visibility in digital space. I'm sure you can, when we talk about digital space, you understand what that means. And I would just want to give you a brief outline about what I want to discuss today. So it's just 3 key points, which is about the background, the context for this presentation, the SUKA model, which I have tried to come up with, and also the benefit of enhancing your research visibility. So reflecting on the topic, I think it's something very interesting. It's very applicable, and I like the way I was able to break it down into 3 different sections for us to understand what we really want to talk about today. So firstly, when we talk about enhancing, so it's verb, is a process, and it's something of a progress. That is, you are doing something at 0 level, you want to enhance it to move to next level. So let's say from 0 to 1, and somebody doing 2 is trying to move it to 5. And this is something we need to recognize, that the fact that we are doing it doesn't mean that somebody else is not doing it at a faster rate. But we have to recognize our own limitations, we want to recognize our own challenges, and also our own research field. Because I'm in marketing, and recently they released some the impact factors of journals. I see some journals in medicine like 50 impact factor. And let's say mine in marketing is 4 or 5 or 6. But does that mean that I'm not working hard? Does that mean if I'm publishing in a journal of 4-point impact factor, that doesn't mean I'm not working hard? No. So we want to recognize that in enhancing our career, our research visibility, it's a process. And we want to recognize that everybody has got their own journey. Everybody has got their own race they are running. We are all doing research, but we want to recognize that, yes, there are different strands to this research. There are different forms of collaboration. There are different forms of grants that you get, that even collaboration that can affect your work. But as individuals, it's important for us to take cognizant about what we are doing, the conscious effort we are doing as an individual to move it from 0 to 1. And if you're already on 0.5, you want to move it to, let's say, 10. So enhancing is a process, and it's meant to be a progress. That is, you want to put more effort to increase your stance from where you are last year to where you want to be next year. The second thing is about the research visibility. You want to show what you are doing. It's important we recognize that we are all working. We are all doing research. But it's about the quantity and the quality. Some people may wait for 5 years before they release that blockbuster, before they release that big journal article they've been waiting for. While some people will do some small ones, and you think, yes, it's out. But we want to recognize that whatever we are doing as researchers, this is something that is out there for people to see. This is something that is out there for people to recognize that, yes, you are doing something. This is something you want to show people that, okay, I might just be in my lab, the results might not be out yet, but these are the things I'm doing as part of that process. So the research visibility is important. And thirdly, when we talk about research space, so this digital space rather. So this is something online, it's readily available and with no boundaries. For you to understand this better, look at some of these musicians or skit makers in Nigeria. Many years ago, some of them we have to go and start begging Kenny's music. Please, Ogungbe, sign me. I've got this music, I've got this track, I want to share it. Because they are the custodians of those media spaces. But now, anybody can release any song in their bedroom, share it on the internet, and it can go viral. Look at the skit makers, the Mr. Macaroni, the Taomas. Many years ago, they might have to go and start begging producers, start begging directors to feature them on their movies. But now, with the power of technology, social media, the digital space, it's easier for you to stay in your room, create a content, share it on social media, and it's out. And that is something I think researchers as well can recognize. Yes, we have the journals. They are the gatekeepers. They are the custodians of knowledge. But in addition to what the journal is offering, what can you do as an individual within this digital space to enhance your research visibility? What can you do in your own little corner, in your own little lab, to showcase what you have to do, what you are doing? Dr. Amara mentioned about women, and in terms of the visibility, in terms of showing forth what they are doing. We want to recognize that it's not just women. Many people are just trying to do what they want to do in their lab and thinking, yes, that is it. But ultimately, as you recognize the world in which we live now, it's not just beyond what you are doing, it's what people can see. So you want to demonstrate that I'm good, and these are the evidence of my goodness. You want to come out and show people that, yes, it's not as if I'm lazy. This is something I'm doing. And when you think about it, it's left for you to recognize the advantages and the benefit that this brings on board. So in discussing this whole concept of enhancing, your research visibility in a digital space, I came up with a model which I call the SUCA. So it's an acronym SUCAA. So this is where you take responsibility for enhancing your visibility. I guess maybe coming from a marketing background, coming in from a branding background might have helped me. So I acknowledge that as a privilege. And in recognizing the fact that if you don't promote your hard work, nobody will see it. If you don't promote what you are doing, nobody will recognize who you are. If you don't enhance, if you don't make conscious effort to build your brand, nobody will recognize who you are. It's important for us to recognize that we are all brands, we are all personalities, but it requires effort to move us into a different level. And this is about social media. This is very important. This is something I want us to always recognize. It's about social media. It's about uploading what you are doing, monitoring your citations, getting acknowledgement for what you are doing, and also some kind of authentication. So this is something that I have done, and I'm not just speaking like, okay, yes, do this. This is something I've done, and I'm glad to share it with you because so far it has helped me. But you want to recognize that, like I said, enhancement is a process. It's a long journey. The fact that I'm here right now doesn't mean I have to stop enhancing my visibility. The fact that you might think, oh, he has arrived, she has arrived, that doesn't stop you from building your brand. It doesn't stop you from enhancing your visibility. Like I said, it's a process. And if you have not done it, that doesn't mean you should not do it. Now is a challenge for you to make effort. So this is something I've done, and this is something I'll be sharing with you. So firstly, in terms of getting social, I use 4 social media profiles, which is Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and yes, for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Often I use LinkedIn and I use Twitter because those are the places that I know my audience will be, and often there's kind of engagement. But on Facebook and Instagram, it's not that very much, but much of visuals just to put something there. And this is something I will encourage. I see people use TikTok. That is very good. But at this stage, I don't think it fits into my own kind of brand persona. But that's something I will encourage. Like, yes, do you have a Twitter account to share your work? Do you have a Facebook account to put your work there? Are you engaging with people on LinkedIn and even on Instagram? So that is the first thing in the model, getting on social. This doesn't mean you are like a comedian or creating just content. You know your audience, you know those you want to engage with. Again, it's not just about the numbers. It's not about, oh, I've got 5,000 followers. It's about you making effort gradually, those little conscious effort to build your brand, to build your visibility. You do one today, tomorrow you do another one, tomorrow you do another one, next week, next month, it built up. So Rome was not built in a day. This is something you need to recognize. Then, secondly, is about uploading your work. So I use ResearchGate, I use the SSRN, and I use Advanced Sage. I recognize there could be some other platform for you to share your work, because I think in technology, in the sciences, they have a kind of repository that they use. But this is something I use, and I think it's open to everybody. Think about it, those working papers you are doing, those conference presentations you are doing, those are rejected journal publications, those publications that you are not able to get into a journal. Somebody somewhere will benefit from that. I remember when I was doing a study on transportation in Nigeria, it was interesting for me to see somebody working on Agbero. I was like, this is interesting. You might think nobody will like this topic, but I can tell you, somebody somewhere will appreciate that work. So ResearchGate is a place that I use, and it's somewhere that I can always recommend. And also Advanced Sage, this is more of a preprint community. So this is where you can just upload some of your work that is still in protein and maybe still under submission, or some works that you feel is not good enough for a journal article and it's not good enough for a blog post. So something that are in between a blog post, which people might just ignore, or something that it's not really good for academic journal. Something in between, you have some ideas that you can share. In all these sites, you get your digital object identification, which is a DOI. It's out there for people to cite, it's out there for people to reference. They recognize that this is just a post that an article that has not been peer reviewed, but notwithstanding, you have said something. Many of us we share tweets, we cite tweets, we cite blog posts. How is it different from what somebody has written in an academic setting? We cite newspaper articles. Again, these are not peer reviewed, and that means you should not undermine your capabilities, undermine your abilities to share your work. The third one is about monitoring your citation. This is very important. You want to get credit for the works you are doing. You want to make sure that your work is recognized. And I use Google Scholars and Scopus. So Scopus is quite strict. It's quite very limited. But again, you recognize that, yes, these are the works that you have done. Google Scholars is very good as well. It's able to scrap everything you've been doing online, and you can create your own channel, you can create your own profile. And I will advise you, set up a Google alert. It tells you when somebody cites your work. It tells you when somebody mentions you. Again, as you can recognize, this is academia. You want to recognize the fact that, yes, people want to see your work. People want to cite it. So I think this is something I will recommend as you make effort to enhance your visibility. Remember, if I want to work with you, I want to do a Google search. Who is she? Who is he? What has he done? Okay. I go to Google Scholars, I see what you are doing. I go to Scopus, I see what you are doing. I feel, okay, this looks like somebody I can work with, because that is just a kind of recognition. The fourth one is getting acknowledged for your work. So this is the open research collaborative identity. So it's expected that everybody doing research, everybody doing one kind of collaboration, we have a form of identification. This helps you if you have many Amaras, Chuku, for example, working in microbiology in Nigeria. How do we recognize that this is you and this is him? So this kind of identification helps you to get acknowledged for your work. So it makes sure that nobody else is taking ownership of your work because you share the same surname and you share the same first name. And also, Publon is something that is getting a kind of publicity now, because it gives credit for your peer reviews. So if you do some kind of peer reviews, it gets verified and it adds up to your number. And also, this is owned by Webs of Science, so it gives you some kind of research IDs. It gives you record of your publication that they have. So when you want to talk about record of publication, remember, it's different from what you have on ResearchGate. Your record of publication is different from what you have on Google Scholars, different on what you have on Scopus, and also what you have on Web of Science. But ultimately, it's about you getting recognition for your work. And lastly, is about that authentication. So this is where you get a profile of yourself on your university website. Often when you want to search people, you want to find out where are they attached to. In Yoruba language, they say it's good to have a kind of connection. So you have something that you can pull. So if I want to find out where is Emmanuel, I know Emmanuel is attached to a university. So that brings a kind of credibility, a kind of authentication. That is, if anything goes wrong, come on, I know where to go to. If I've committed an offense, or if somebody is looking for me, they know where to go to. And again, this sort of puts you on your toes to remember that you are representing your university. And also, it gives you a kind of credibility. So if you don't have a profile on your university, please make an effort to ask questions around, find out who is responsible for that. This is something unique because unlike the other profiles I've told you, you can create those ones, you can manipulate those ones, you can change it and adjust it. But for your university profile, that is something authentic. That is something you can control. There is a gatekeeper who is making sure that whatever you put out there is being reviewed and is considered authentic. So having said all this, what are the benefits? Firstly, is about the community. You want to feel among, you want to feel a part of the system. When people are talking about academia, you want to make sure your name is being mentioned. You want to make sure you are seen and you are recognized. And also, you want to recognize the prospect of collaboration because you get the opportunity to be offered, you get offered the opportunity to collaborate and to share ideas. So if I'm looking for people working on microbiology in Nigeria, and I want to do a search, I found out, come on, I don't see anybody on Google Scholar doing this. Okay, I go to Scopus, nothing. I go to ResearchGate, I don't see anything. Remember, that does not mean that you are not working hard. That does not mean you are not doing it. But because you are not out there, people don't see you, people don't ask you, people don't invite you. And also, it's about the credibility. You get seen and you get recognized for your hard work. I remember doing a research, and one of the professors that I follow, he shared a work on LinkedIn. It came in at the right time. I was working on sustainability, women, financial inclusion in Africa, and this professor shared this work, and it came at the right time. And I was like, wow, this is something I need to use. So when you enhance your credibility, you put yourself out there for people to see. And also, you have some kind of control over your work. You are able to share your work beyond what the journals might not even have given you the opportunity. Some academic work are in peer review process for 2 years, but within that 2 years, you could have shared something that builds up that momentum. People recognize you for who you are. But ultimately, it's important for us to recognize that there is a kind of commitment. It's not easy to maintain all these profiles. It's not easy to enhance your visibility. It's a long process, but you want to watch your profile grow. You want to watch how many connections you've built. You want to watch how many people you've been able to engage with. You want to watch how many people are engaging with your work. So I must say, it's not easy, but you can't just enhance your career, your research visibility by folding your hand. Like I said, you might think you have done it, but there is still many, many things to do. If you think you've arrived, somebody is actually surpassing you. Again, it's not a competition, but you want to recognize that, yes, you want to grow your profile. And lastly, you want to recognize that, yes, it's a process, albeit a very slow process, because this is something you can't just build in a day. You can't build your credibility in a day. It takes years. You want to nurture that relationship you are building. You want to nurture the network. You want to engage, contribute, write some things, get involved in peer reviews, get involved in blog posts, engage with people, share your ideas, attend webinars, attend conferences, meet people, let people know you. I must say, these are all just digital space. There are still some other things you need to do offline that you need to build on this. There are some people I've worked with, but I've not seen them before. That is the benefit of digital space. So let me allow you to reflect on this. I don't want you to answer me right now, but think about this because you've attended my presentation. I want you to go back home and reflect on this. I shared with you 12 profiles. How many do you know? How many of those 12 do you have? Remember, there's a difference from you knowing them and you having them. So you might know them, but you've not really taken time to work on them. And how many of them would you update? How many of them still got your profile picture when you were still an undergraduate 10 years ago? How many of them still got your profile when you were still a PhD student and now you are a lecturer? And how many of them would you create? So thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure sharing this with you. And I hope you can reflect on this and take some actions. So if you have any other questions, you might reach out to me. That's my email address, and I'm available on Twitter or any of these social media to reach out to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm giving you a real clap. I'm sure we're giving you virtual claps all through. That was an excellent presentation, Dr. Emmanuel. I'm so grateful because it's something that, especially us who spend so much time in the lab, trying to think about how we can be visible and people know what we're doing. And I think especially what you said that hit home was not only waiting for the peer-reviewed stuff, because yes, that takes time, and we have ideas, we have things, we just want to be known for what we do. So that's excellent. I'll take a very brief comment from Professor Nnamdi, because we're not actually doing questions for the keynote, but you can contact Dr. Emmanuel and we will bring him back to NAM for a masterclass, because I think we need a 1-hour session with you, Dr. where we do these things practically. But a very brief comment from Professor Nnamdi. Thank you.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Hi. Thank you very much. That was an excellent presentation, and I'm very pleased to know that a marketer is actually engaging with microbiologists. We all face the same challenges. Without asking you where that inspiration came on that professor that shared an article on women entrepreneurship, I just wanted to highlight that there are other areas where you can actually share your work, such as The Conversation, University World News, academia.edu, etc., etc. That's something is quite interesting. And one of the key directions of travel for research is the interdisciplinarity. You can see that a marketing professor or researcher is engaging with microbiologists to have a 360 view of a problem that is common to all. So that is something that's very interesting and something